What if you dress poorly and everyone knows it, but you don't realize it? There are style mistakes everyone recognizes, and there are others far worse, because no one ever points them out. They don't make you look badly dressed. They make you look weak, insecure, unreliable. Today I'm going to show you 7 style mistakes that ruin your presence without you knowing it. Silent mistakes. Mistakes made by men who believe they already dress well. And once you see them, you won't be able to stop noticing them. Error 7. Correct clothes. Poorly combined. This is one of the most common and hardest mistakes to detect, because nothing looks wrong at first glance. The clothes are correct, clean, properly sized, and taken separately. They work. The problem appears when they're combined. Presence isn't ruined by the garment itself, but by the relationship between them. The social brain doesn't evaluate individual pieces. It evaluates coherence. When one part of the outfit speaks one language and another part speaks a different one, the image is perceived as confused. Not as personal style, but as lack of judgment. And lack of judgment weakens authority. A typical example is mixing levels of formality without intention. A structured shirt with overly casual trousers. Elegant shoes with relaxed upper garments. Or the opposite. Athletic sneakers with an outfit that calls for sobriety. Nothing is forbidden, but everything feels out of place. The observer doesn't think, how creative, but something doesn't add up. When garments don't talk to each other, the image looks thrown together. It doesn't project intention, and without clear intention, there is no automatic respect. Error 6. Using safe colors in an insecure way. Many men believe avoiding style mistakes is about choosing safe colors. Black, gray, navy blue, white. Classic tones, widely accepted, hard to question. The problem is that when used incorrectly, these colors don't protect presence. They weaken it. And they do so silently. The mistake isn't the color, but the intention behind it. When a man hides behind safe colors, out of fear of making a mistake, his image communicates exactly that. Excessive caution. The social brain doesn't read this as sobriety, but as lack of decisiveness. A clear example is the overuse of black. Black on top, black on the bottom. Black shoes. The result isn't automatic elegance, it's rigidity. The body becomes flat, without depth, without visual hierarchy. Instead of imposing, it hardens. And a hardened image is often perceived as tense, not confident. White presents another extreme. Pure white demands absolute precision. When that precision isn't met, the image becomes fragile. The man looks just dressed, not settled. Error 5. Correct fit in the wrong context. This mistake is especially dangerous because it fools the mirror. The garment fits well, the size is correct. It's neither tight nor loose, and yet presence weakens. Not because the clothing is wrong, but because the fit doesn't match the context. The problem isn't technical, it's situational. Many men believe that finding their ideal fit solves style forever. It doesn't. Fit isn't an absolute truth. It's a tool that changes with the environment. The same cut can project confidence in one context and fragility in another. The social brain doesn't evaluate whether something fits well. It evaluates whether it belongs. A very tight fit can work in informal or creative environments, where closeness and energy are welcome. But in contexts where authority is expected, that same fit communicates tension. The body becomes too exposed, movements become noticeable, and the image feels strained. It's not read as control, but as a need for physical approval. Error 4. Too much visual information without realizing it. This mistake isn't about dressing badly, but about dressing too much. Unnecessary layers, textures that don't dialogue, competing accessories, constant contrasts. Nothing is objectively wrong, but everything speaks at once. The result isn't visual richness, it's saturation. The human brain seeks order. When an image presents too many simultaneous stimuli, it's not interpreted as interesting, but as unstable. And instability never projects authority. A man with too much visual information looks nervous, not solid. This error appears when someone tries to add presence by adding elements. One extra garment, just in case. One more accessory to finish the look. Another contrast, so it's not boring. The problem is that presence isn't built by adding, it's built by filtering. Every element that doesn't serve a clear function steals focus. A man with strong presence understands that clarity imposes more than complexity. His image doesn't need to explain anything. Everything is in its place, and nothing is excessive. When there is visual silence, respect appears. Error 3. Breaking body proportion without noticing it. This mistake has nothing to do with fashion, brands, or age. It has to do with how the body is read from a distance, and it's one of the most destructive to presence because almost no one is aware of it. Body proportion isn't seen up close in the mirror, it's perceived from afar, and that's where much of the initial respect is decided. Correct proportion creates a stable, firm, easy-to-read figure. When proportion is broken, the body looks shorter, weaker, or disordered, even in tall men or those in good physical shape. The problem isn't the body, it's how clothing visually cuts it. One of the most common mistakes is shortening the legs without realizing it. Trousers that are too long and bunch up or too short and cut the visual line. Highly contrasting sneakers with dark trousers. All of this interrupts verticality. The body loses presence and appears less grounded. Error 2. Dressing from identity instead of position. This is one of the most socially accepted mistakes, and at the same time, one of the most damaging to masculine presence. It's often justified with phrases that sound good but hide a serious issue. This is who I am. This is my style. I dress to express myself. The problem isn't identity. It's using it as the only criterion. Presence isn't built from who you think you are, but from how you want to be read. The social brain doesn't evaluate internal intentions. It evaluates external signals. When clothing expresses too much personal identity and fails to support a clear position, authority is lost. Dressing from identity often leads to decisions that prioritize emotional comfort over social reading. Garments that reflect personal taste, cultural references, moods. All of that can be authentic, but not necessarily effective. The image becomes explanatory, and an image that needs explanation loses strength. This mistake often appears when a man holds, or wants to hold, a role that requires respect, but dresses as if he were among friends. The clothing communicates closeness when the context calls for distance. The result isn't warmth, it's loss of hierarchy. Error 1. Letting the effort show. This is the most destructive mistake of all, because it cancels out every previous success. You can wear good colors, good fit, correct garments, and still lose presence if one thing becomes clear: the effort. When it's obvious that you tried too hard, authority collapses. Respect doesn't respond to perfection, it responds to natural control. The social brain interprets visible effort as insecurity. It doesn't matter whether the effort was financial, aesthetic, or intellectual. If it's perceived, it weakens the image. This mistake appears when the outfit looks overly calculated, overly matched, overly explanatory. When every element seems to say, "Look how well I dressed." The result isn't elegance, it's visual anxiety. The man looks like he's being evaluated. It also appears when the image changes constantly. One style today, another tomorrow. Formal one day, relaxed the next, without a clear logic. The environment can't read a stable identity. And without stability, there is no solid presence. The mistake isn't wanting to look good. The mistake isn't wanting to look good. The mistake is needing it to be noticed. Strong presence is silent. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't justify itself. It doesn't defend itself. It simply exists and is accepted. That's why this error destroys everything else. Because even a technically correct image loses weight if it feels forced. Respect isn't negotiated through effort. It appears when control is so natural it goes unnoticed. A man with presence doesn't look dressed for an occasion. He looks prepared for any situation. Because being a man is an art at any age.